All opinions expressed by the program participants are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Upscale Love for You. The program participants' opinions are based on the information that they consider from their own knowledge. No expressions or accuracy is related to Upscale Love for You. Good evening.
Hello, and welcome. This is yours truly, Dr. Fabulous. You know, I duck in and I duck out, but I'm here right on time. So tonight it is an open forum, and we are definitely going to talk about several things under the Pride umbrella this evening. And June is the month of Pride, so we are taking pride in talking about the different communities under the umbrella of Pride. So without further ado, I'm going to send it over to you, Dr. Feel Good, to introduce yourself.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Feel Good here, the man with the golden voice, the ladies' choice, and of course, smooth as Rolls Royce. I'm a little bit under the weather today, but I'm going to come and play. Hey, I'm out here using my voice and continuing being the ladies' choice. So don't get too moist, because I'm going to pass you on to my Lady T. Now get it in, Lady T, and say your says for me.
Oh, Dr. Feel Good, you just does something. Welcome, everyone. This is Lady T coming live from the 305. I am so excited tonight. This is going to be a hot topic. I want you to share your thoughts, share your concerns, and you can even educate us. So while I'm waiting on this ride, I'm going to slide it over to Special K. Let's see what she has to say.
All right. Good evening. Thank you, Lady T. Good evening, everyone. This is Special K coming to you from the sweet city of Savannah, Georgia. I just want to say welcome if this is your first time with us, and a big thank you and welcome back for everyone who is regularly on the show. And like Lady T said, this is an open conversation tonight. So I just am eager to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions, and let's just have a good time. And with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to no other than our Action Jackson.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for tonight's episode. It's going to be a great show. We'll be discussing the non-binary and binary, all the pronouns. Hopefully, we'll be able to educate one another and learn a thing or two about the LGBT community and inform one another. It's going to be a great show. And we'll turn it over to Dr. Fab to start the show.
All right. Well, if this is your very first time joining us, let me give you a little insight about Upscale Love for You. Upscale Love for You is formulated to entertain, educate, and facilitate self-help, self-love, and everything you want and wish to know about love, relationship, dating, marriage, divorce, widower, everything under the umbrella of a relationship. Okay? We uncover hot topics and sensitive issues, from tales of singleton to parenting issues and everything in between. Whether you are actively seeking directions or looking for a way to pass time or genuinely looking for a good conversation, Upscale Love for You is here. And baby, tonight's open forum, we want you to ask, we want you to tell, we want you to get everything in and out of season of Pride. Can we say Pride? Pride, Pride. And I'm going to say, I don't know much, but I'm going to listen. You know, they have say the ear to the wall. The ear will be to the wall this evening because I want to learn it all. So without further ado, we're going to send it right on over to you, Special K. Let's get on the way. All right, Special K. I'm trying to rhyme like Dr. Feel Good. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, honey. I'm working on it every day.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Fabulous. So I'm going to start off with some thoughts from the panel on I was watching an interview actually not that long ago where a transgender woman was being interviewed, and they asked her, her preference of dating, and she said she dates straight men. So it was asked. So my question tonight is a straight man who dates or is attracted to a transgender woman gay? So that's going to be, the topic I would like to hear some thoughts on tonight, and just my input from what was being said on this particular interview. The young lady, the transgender woman, said that they are not gay because straight men are, when they see her, they see a woman, they see the femininity of a woman, they see the hair, the makeup, the breasts, the body, everything that straight men are attracted to. So in that aspect, she was saying absolutely not. They are not considered gay, the men that date her. So thoughts on that? Is a straight man who is into or dates transgender women considered gay?
Well,
Quick question.
I'm not a
Hold on,
man.
hold on, hold on.
Yes,
Quick question, Special K.
yes.
Is the transgender pre or post op?
Let's just say no, because I don't know in that particular situation if they didn't disclose that. But I do know that it can be a very pricey surgery, and from my research, most are not
So that most of them are pre op.
a pre-op, right? So let's go with that. Let's say that they are
Yes.
still pre-op.
Wait, I'm sorry, Dr. Feelgood, can you explain pre-op and post for us who do not know, please?
Okay. Pre-op and post-op are different sides of the trans spectrum. Pre-op is obviously before your operation, meaning you still have the genitals assigned that you were born with. Women might have their breasts removed, but that's still considered pre-op because they still have a vajayjay. Post-op is when the parts are rearranged, gender reassignment surgery. And that's what Special K was talking about. It is very, very pricey. And at one point, about 30 years ago, you could only get it in like 3 states in the country: California, Colorado, and I forgot the third state. However, post-op, you could not really tell the difference because with the hormone therapy, the rearranging of the genitalia and the prosthetics, you would not know. Now, saying that, love is love, and I'm an ally. I'm an ally. I'm straight, cis male, but I'm an ally. Is the person gay if he does not know he's with a post-op? If he's with a pre-op, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes. If it's post-op and they don't know, and the person and their person didn't tell them, if you told them afterwards, that's hard to say because the woman has the right parts. They might not be OEM or equipment original equipment manufacturer, but their parts is just reassigned. Does that make the person gay? I don't think so. But that's just my opinion. But like I said, if they're pre-op, I'm going to give that a big yes, because the trans woman still has, it's like Caitlyn. It's like the difference between Caitlyn Jenner and, I don't know if you remember, there was a tennis player in the 70s, Dr. Renee Richards.
Or can you compare RuPaul?
No, RuPaul is not trans. RuPaul,
He's a drag queen.
He's a cross-dresser. Different tonality altogether. And
I'm sorry, Dr. Feelgood. So can you break that down? Because like some people know what a drag queen is and some may not know the difference between a drag queen and a transgender.
Well, the drag queens are mainly, they can be hetero or homosexual. They dress like women and perform like women. However, they don't consider themselves trans. They're more on the cross-dressing spectrum.
So they pretty much live their regular daily life as a man. It's more of their profession.
Yes.
as a drag queen. Okay.
Yes. And they might just like to do it. That's, it's a preference. Transgender is a life-changing choice. That's the best way I can put it. And people might have regrets after the surgery if they get the gender reassignment surgery, but they figure that they were born in the wrong body and they're transforming into and identifying as the gender they weren't born. And that's the main difference. Like I said, Dr. Renee Richards, a tennis player of the 70s, you can Google her. She was the first pro athlete to transition from male to female and competed in the Women's Tennis Association back in the 70s. This was like, this was real big because that was it. Opposed to Caitlyn Jenner, who has breasts or implants, whatever you want to call them, does not have female genitalia. She would be considered a pre-op transsexual. She identifies as a woman, but she still has the biological male parts. So if she's dating a woman and she prefers women, that really doesn't make her. It's kind of that. Is she a lesbian?
So does she? Wait a minute. So does she date women or men?
Yes, she dates women.
Caitlyn Jenner dates women.
Yes.
So, I didn't know that. So
Yes.
I thought
Caitlyn
she was.
Jenner is a
woman.
Trans woman. A pre-operational.
Okay, was a man, but transformed into a female.
But still likes females, though.
Yes.
So as a man, that's interesting. So as
So
a
why
male,
didn't you say a man?
right? That's what I was going to say. So
She felt that she felt she identified as a woman, so that's what she identifies as, and she did not get the gender reassignment surgery for whatever reason, but she still likes women,
and she
Okay,
also.
so she's a lesbian.
She's
a
what were you
transgender
saying,
lesbian.
that's kind of tricky area. That's kind of tricky area.
Too complicated.
Yeah, that situation is very complicated. Ravon, what were you going to say?
Advocate for women, Caitlyn, like women rights. And
So you feel that Caitlyn wanted to be more of an advocate for females?
Yes.
And their rights?
Yes, because she felt like when I watched a couple of the Kardashian episodes when she was transitioning, she didn't feel comfortable with a man's body. She said all along she felt like a woman growing up, even when she competed in Olympics. She felt like a woman.
Okay, but
that's
I'm not
the husband, right? I'm sorry, guys. I don't watch these shows.
Okay,
that's
but
the husband.
I'm not understanding, because if she wants to be a woman, but she still wants to be with the woman, that's kind of crazy. So is she considered a lesbian?
That's what makes it complicated.
Complicated. I can't answer that.
These roles, and that's why I was saying, if a man's with a trans woman who had the operation and is not and does not disclose that they were trans, they were born a man, that person, I don't think that person is gay because they did not know. Now, if they are pre-op and they got with a man, and the man is not, in my opinion, but who am I to, like I said, love is love. Who am I to say that person is straight? And it's kind of the same way. It's kind of the same way with Caitlyn's situation, but like I said, it's all in the end, if they love each other, that's all that should matter. But society sees that as Caitlyn went from a straight man to a queer woman.
But would she be considered queer or a transgender? Now
she's trans. She identifies as transgender, and since she still has her original equipment, at least in one part, she could be considered queer, but she doesn't sleep with men.
So you're saying that's a man that that's a female that used to be a male, but physically she has everything, but she still have a penis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
right.
wow.
So
If you
I
don't
have a
have, you could be a
question.
transgender without the gender reassignment surgery.
So
Or-
I saw in the chat box, Bridget put that her partner is a transgender, what was it, woman. So her partner was actually born a man.
Her partner's a woman. Last time I checked, unless she's dating somebody new. Let me go online and check it out.
I
But
just
it-
Googled it, so that's why I put that in there.
So this is
How
real,
would
yeah.
yeah, this is complicated. So how would a transgender woman deal with a transgender woman? If that's the case, then you should have kept being a dude and have sex with a man.
Well, but I'm saying, you can say that, and that's where all of it. That's the part. These are things we're just trying to figure out. This whole gender fluidity, and things like that. We are the social acceptance is catching up with the biology, and that's the thing. We could say what we want, but like I said, I go back to the love is love thing. And if Bridget, is Caitlin's partner post-op or pre-op?
I don't think she had gender, or I don't think
Reassignment?
she had the operation. They both have penises.
What?
So
That's crazy.
That
That's
they're
better
both
say a
transgender.
man.
So they're both transgender. Yeah.
So then they're gay as well. If a man is
Either way,
attracted
yes,
to another man and sexually attracted
right.
to another man, he is
As
defined as being a gay man.
who identifies as a woman. Yes, in the black and white world, they gay. That's by
What other world is it?
Okay, my question, right? Because Caitlyn Jenner, I thought was a woman she was dating, but who's the male, who's the female? Is it two girl or?
well.
Good
It's
question.
actually two men.
I mean, it's two, but who's the bottom? Who's the top?
So that,
Don't nobody
like I said,
know.
I'm not gonna go that deep. I'm not gonna. You're
Please, I want to
speaking
know.
the correct
I'm
language,
learning.
but you're speaking the correct language. But in that situation, they might both be switches.
Oh, switches. Turn on,
Yes.
turn off.
Okay,
Turn on, turn off.
Okay, explain switches,
No.
Dr. Fielder, because I'm
Okay.
learning a
Switch
lot tonight.
roles. I mean, he could be a man today. She could be,
when it's let me get this.
Y'all
When
about to make me pop
man-
some
When
popcorn.
man on man, man to man, penis, two penises, there are two positions, top and bottom.
Mhm.
The top is the masculine portion, the inserter. The bottom is the insertee. And then you have switches or versatiles. Because some men like to give and receive. On the
Ooh,
women's
that's some
side,
P-Valley stuff there. I'm listening.
on the
Great
women's
P
side,
Valley.
it's shades. You have the bulls, you have studs, you have femmes, and you have what's called lipsticks.
Ooh, what's that? That sounds good.
Okay, lipstick is short for lipstick lesbian, meaning they're very feminine. They're very feminine, but they have no attraction to men.
Oh, okay. Okay.
A
I've seen
femme,
this.
a femme is feminine in the relationship, but they can have some attraction to men. A
So
stud,
would that be bisexual?
it could be bisexual, yes, but I mean, it's all in depending on who you spend all this time with, in my opinion.
Okay.
What I'm saying, and so a stud, and you seen the stud uniform, basketball shorts, tank top, bound breast. No, they're a woman, and they may have a little feeling for men, but they identify with men more. And a
And
bull.
their
What do you mean
appearance
have a
is
little
more.
feeling for men? I'm sorry,
Yeah, I
break that
never-
down a
Let's
little
get
bit.
pregnant.
Huh?
Let's use the Brad for example, right? All my life I thought Brad was a stud, but in her last couple of years, she become more on the feminine side because she's doing more like double XL pictures with her pregnancy. So how would you address that issue?
She's
what-
trying to make money.
She might be what's called a soft stud, but that's kind of
A soft stud?
yeah, like Young Ma. You heard of the rapper Young Ma?
Young M, yeah, I know her.
Young M.A.
Yeah.
Mhm.
pregnant. She got pregnant in the traditional way.
What?
She had sex with a man?
Wait,
Yes.
when is Young and May pregnant? I haven't heard this now. I don't think she's pregnant. When was this?
Last year.
She had a baby?
I know there was a photo, but it wasn't real that was circulating of her. It was a photo.
It might have been, but
Yeah,
that's an example. And then you have bulls who try to destroy every bit of femininity they might have. The only thing that they think that the time they're a woman is when their monthly comes. They walk around, they wear strap-ons, or they have a prosthetic phallus they walk around with. They're very mannish. Those are the ones that, those are the ones that are like, they do the exaggeration of men.
And they can get their menstruation stopped. I mean, even straight women, that's just something as women, y'all know that
Yeah.
you can get your menstruation stopped. So I
Yeah,
wonder.
but they don't get
because I'm gonna have a baby at 62.
Good luck to you. with
Do
that.
it, girl. Do it. Hey, I'm the winner. Hey.
those women have probably never been penetrated at all.
Oh, so sad.
That's not I'm not going to say I'm an expert on that because I'm just giving you from my research. But those are the differences. Those are the differences in the community of top, bottom, stud, dom, femme, bull, lipstick. Those are the different kind of shades. So it's not like one size fits all. It's just like us. We all black people. Well, we're all black people today,
I'm
but
Puerto
we're not
Rican.
all the same.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Fabulous, for all that good information and clarifying everything.
That wasn't Dr. Fabulous.
I'm sorry. I meant Dr.
Everybody put
Feel
their
Good.
hands up for
Excuse
Dr.
me.
Fabulous don't know nothing.
Dr. Feel Good.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Feel Good, not Fabulous.
You're correct, Dr. Feel Good. So is there anyone else? Let me hear from someone else that would like to, just their opinion. Do they believe that a straight man is gay? Lady T, you have your hand up.
No, I was giving a hand clap. Because Dr.
Okay.
Feelgood did
Well,
a
I didn't
wonderful
put
job.
my hand up, but I would like to respond. I want to give it a two-part question. Is there any man that will actually say or acknowledge that they've ever been with a transsexual?
Oh,
Ain't nobody gonna answer that, girl. What's wrong with you?
thank you, Papa Doc. She
Honey,
went from
Mike.
one extreme to the next.
Hey, I'm sorry. I thought I was muted. My bad. I'm sorry, Dr. Fabulous. But that's what I was thinking out loud. Who
That
gonna
was
do
what you was thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
So-
God.
they not proud to be proud.
So can I let me the question, can I answer that enlighten on the question?
Please.
So-
please.
So I got into a debate with a transgender person about this question. Like, I mean, you might consider yourself transgender, but that you were born a man, and that's what's on your birth certificate. Okay. So if a straight man decides to have sex with a transgender person of the same sex, it's so I said it was gay, but they explained to me it was probably more bisexual.
Bullshit.
I got you, bro. I believe that's what that was my argument too.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me mute myself. Hold
but-
on.
but But at the same time, you got to remember when you're having these conversations or trying to, you're they're going to explain it to you one way. Well, he's having sex with me, which he's having sex with another man. You gay? No, he's bisexual. Uh, unless I'm behind the closed door looking at this, which I don't want to. I presume that if you bisexual, you might flip over and let her do you. So you gay. That's how I look at it.
Okay.
Do we have anyone who know a transgender on here? Maybe we can chime them in to answer some questions. We can keep the screen black. Anyone? No? Okay.
I see
And then
Leanne's hand is up. Oh,
My
go ahead.
hand was up before the question came. Good evening. I
Good
just
evening.
need to simply,
sorry.
I just need to put this simply as it could be. Bisexual is gay. Please recognize that.
Oh,
So there's no
Bisexual,
difference.
no. Gay is gay. Bisexual is gay. So that's when they came up with the LGBTQI question mark AA question mark.
Does
Bisexual
anybody know
is
what
gay.
that stands for? Do you know what all
LG,
those letters stand? Yeah.
lesbian, asexual. I don't know. No, I can look it
Gay,
up.
lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and that's all I know.
Inquiring,
Gay, here it is.
inquiring,
Here it
inquisitive,
is.
and
Gay,
and,
lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual people collectively.
yep.
all
That's
right
what it
then.
is.
Leah, can you type that in the chat? Because I really need
And
to
then
see
you got
that.
pansexual, two-spirited, and you got some new shit going on now where they don't I can't even think of what it's called. But yes, I can type it in there.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I wanted to jump on this train about the person saying a transgender would be gay or whatever after post-op. My question is, do you know after they become post-op, does their driver's license change from saying male and now it's changed to female, or does it remain the same? Does anyone know
In
that?
most states,
You
in
can
most
change-
states, you can get that. You can get that changed.
Okay.
However, there are some states, mainly in the solid South, that you whatever gender was on your birth certificate, that's what you are.
So you would have to go somewhere like California to get it changed?
Or New York.
Probably.
More a liberal state, probably, most likely.
I'm sorry, y'all. I had some popcorn. I told y'all this was a show for me.
Leanne has her hand
But-
up.
Okay, go ahead, Leanne.
Leanne just wanted to wave. She don't have it up. Leanne, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I didn't
Was
put
your
my hand up. That's by mistake.
Okay, all right.
But one thing
I'm
that
trying to put it in the chat.
Okay, thanks. One thing that I know now, since the transgender has come about, when you go to the doctor, there are 3 questions that they ask. What is your sex at birth? What is your sex now? And what is your transgender sex? So I thought that was kind of new when I took my physical, but I mean, I guess things are changing, and whether we like it or not, we have to accommodate that need of the trans, gender community. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the world just trying to stop everything and rewrite history?
Like I said, the socialness has not come up caught with the biology.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a few generations before, we won't be even thinking of it, because if you think about it, every major change has gone through for example, you were thought that you were a witch if you were born left-handed. They used to try to make you become a right-hander.
Mm-hmm.
Or eating tomatoes. If you ate a tomato in the 1600s, they thought you were a witch.
Hmm.
I have something to say about that as an educator, because we have children that is as young as 6th grade that's going through the transition. I did a reel for Upscale Love for You, and I had the young lady Jazz up there. Her name is Jazz now, but she started her transitioning when she was in the 3rd grade. So speaking as an educator, we have about 4 at our school. So they don't use the girls' bathroom or the boys' bathroom. They're escorted down to the nurses' station, and they have to use the restroom in the nurses' station. So whether we are conforming or allowing the world to go in that direction, as it stands now, no little boy wants to stand next to a transgender girl that's now a boy, and no girl wants to sit or go in the same bathroom that one has changed themselves from a boy to a little girl. So they are singled out like a sore thumb, and they have to use the restroom at the nurse's station. That's all I'm saying. But I looked at, and I'm saying, when it comes down to children that are transgenders, just like at the age in the 3rd grade or that age, I don't even know how old you are when you're in the 3rd grade, but for
9, 10.
8 to 9.
Okay, so the parents of Jazz elected to allow him to continue his transitioning at that early age. They paid for all the surgeries, this, that, and the other. And when he turned, I think 13, they had a birthday party. And that was when he had his surgery to remove his bottom area to turn it into a girl's part. And I saw this on television, of course. They gave a cake where it said no more ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling. And it had the little sausages sticking all around the cake. And I was just like, at that early age, do they really know? Because it's just like the young lady that I said had come to an all-women's conference that had her breast and everything cut off, thinking she was getting ready to marry this woman. And the woman stood her up and went back to her boyfriend. But now she has no breast, or, I don't know if the bottom surgery had been done, but I know she had no breast. It was cut off. These weren't bandaged or weren't held down close with wrap to hold it tight. She actually had them chopped off. And now that lover that she was in love with stood her up. That has to be a very traumatic thing, because suppose the young person, Jazz, as she grows older, because she's now a she, as she grows older and she thinks that she's starting to have having feelings for a woman, you've had your bottom part cut off to make it transform into female. And now that's what I'm gonna say. Sometimes we have to look deeper than the surface. It has to be some form of psychological going on for all of this to transpire. Then I say, look at Dwayne Wade's son. At first I said, oh my God, is this just a money thing that Dwayne Wade and them would go along with such as this? And then I saw all the pictures with him standing up with his dad, that he's now a girl, that he's modeling, and he's doing all of these things. And I said, well, I guess we can't do anything but love our children, because they are our children. But that will just do so much to me. But I never could understand where they get all this money. Now I can say with Dwayne Wade, I see where the son is getting the money, to have all these.
And Magic Johnson's son.
Who?
Magic Johnson's son.
Magic
Is he
Johnson.
transitioning? Is EJ transitioning, or is he's just who he is?
I think he's just flamboyant as hell.
That's probably, you're probably right.
No, but
Feel good. Can you put a picture in the chat of Magic
Dwayne-
Johnson?
Dwayne Wade's son is going
And
all
Dwayne
the
Wade.
way because
He got
as
problems
I
too.
looked at the pictures and he's standing up with the wigs, the high heel shoes. He's doing modeling now.
What?
So I said, for him to be an athlete, I wonder how he truly feels, or if it doesn't matter because he loves his son. It just looks
He's supporting his son, but Zaya was like that for a long time, way before he came out.
But then Dwayne Wade's first wife said that it was a money thing. And that was why Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade was on such a train, because of the money that they were getting. As the mother of this child said, it was almost like a spectacle. So, who knows what the real deal is unless you live in the household. Okay, so that's magic.
So my question is, okay, when you're 8 and 9 years old, you haven't even hit puberty yet. So what do you know about, being bi, trans, whatever else they call themselves? And secondly, why would the parent, allow their child to tell them who they are when they haven't hit puberty? And these are fads. These are all fads, because I noticed, at my daughter's school, they have 3 bathrooms, 3 restrooms. They have one for male, female, and the transgender. And the transgender sign is half, there's a figure, half is like a man with a leg, and the other half is a figure, with a skirt. So, I feel like in elementary school, that's a bit much. Just have a unisex, restroom. Leave it like that.
Like the family. Okay, Lady T.
Mm-hmm.
Please know that they do develop and know what they like between the ages of 8, 9, and 10. They know.
I can't even remember if I had any urges for a boy or a girl or anything at that age.
Most of it comes when you're in middle school.
I wanted my Barbie.
When you're in middle school, you really know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
This is what, because I have a gay nephew and I have gay cousins, and I asked, but they knew when they were 8 and 9 years old.
So Leanne,
yes,
I must agree with you on that. And the reason I say that is because I have experienced it very, very close, twice. And these 2 individuals, one came to their mom and she was very young, well, maybe about 11 or 12. And she just told her mom that, she was dealing with it because she didn't have an attraction to boys like most girls start to have at that age. Never been with a boy. She has a girlfriend. She's in her early 20s now, and she's never been with boys. She's always been that way. She is, I guess you could say, more the stud side would be of it, the more boyish, manly, or tomboyish look. And she told her mom at a very young age, and she knew just what Leanne is saying. It's like they do know, whether y'all want to accept that or not. Some of them know from a very young age. So it kind of goes back to, for me, I wonder, like, when you hear people say some are born like that, could it be, I don't know, but could it be some truth to that? And I also had another young relative very close to me who's the same way. Never been with a male, is a grown up now, and doesn't desire men. It has always been attracted to females, just always, since a young age. And it was nothing in the household or environment to make her that way. She just knew what it was. She knew from a very young age. So I believe that statement is very true. for some, maybe not all, but some kids do know at a very young age that they are just, and it's something in them and they don't understand it. Like, well, why am I not attracted? You know, I know I'm a boy and I know I should be attracted to girls, or I know I'm a girl, I know I should be attracted to boys, and they just don't.
But, you know, on that same pretense, because I've had relatives that, and these were women that were into women as lesbians. And then 2-3 years later on, we get a wedding invitation and they marrying a man. So I'm just a little
confused.
Is this the thing that's going on at this time?
I think it depends on the person. There are truly some that know at a young age, and you will never see them with a man. And it's just that. I don't think you can compare it. And there are some that I think battle with it, and they may be a little more confused, like bisexualness. I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like a bisexual person is more of a sexual attraction.
I agree.
That's how I just feel about it. But I'm talking about some real lesbians and real gay men that have been that way since, I mean, y'all ain't, and even as the educators, now I know y'all done seen some little cute boys that's 6-7 years old and just extremely feminine.
I know some that's like in the 8th grade. They have girlfriends, but their mannerisms are so girly. And I tease and say to my coworkers, I give them 3 years, they're going to be asking their girlfriend for their purse, you know, but that's just, we're teasing like that. Of course, we're not going to say it in their presence, but you can like see the underlying, that's kind of questionable. That's kind of suspect, you know?
So for them to be so young, the ones that are so young with it, that's what I'm saying. That's where I kind of don't, you know, they say being gay is not a choice, but then it makes me question it when I see them so young and it's just who they are. So,
but how can you blame them, Special K, when it's everywhere? It's in the institutions, it's in the school system, everywhere you go. It's like, okay, you know, it's okay.
But I have an answer to that. Gayness did not just start over the last 10 years. Them pushing gay.
People kept it a secret. They had more.
Right, but those same people who could be in their 60s now that are gay and have been gay men and women forever, you got to think about that. Back when they were coming up, it wasn't pushed like it is now. Now it's just all in the open. So what about those people? So I just say that to say, to me, it makes me feel like there are some, I believe that it's in them. I don't know if it's a gene. I don't know scientifically what it could be, but I do feel that some people I believe can naturally be born that way. You got to remember, we have hormones. We all have estrogen and testosterone. You have women who have hormone imbalances. Some women have more testosterone and are born that way. You know, so if you look at it sometimes on that type of level, I can believe that some people could be born that way.
But now I do have a friend who said that. She's like 60 some years old now, and she did say she can, remember since she was 2-3 years old that she just always felt different. Wow. And she tried to go through life doing what everyone, expected her to do. She ended up sleeping with a boy when she was in high school just to appease people. And then next thing you know, the first time she slept with him, she got pregnant and she had a child. But from that point on, when she had that baby, she just knew, men was not her thing. So I do believe some people are born from birth like that. It's the chromosome thing. But majority, I feel like it's a choice. And it's a choice because right now, I can't speak about 1940, 20, or 10, but right now, it's so free. It's like a fad. Oh, let me try, girl. Let me swing. Let me do a transgender. That's you're not having sex until you sleep, with the transgender. And I just wonder, what are we doing, as a society?
Yeah.
And people are more open with.
Too open. Every show you look at, they have to incorporate something, whether it's bisexual, lesbian,
Yes,
gay,
yes,
transgender.
yes.
They have to incorporate something, even to the cartoons. I remember watching the Smurfs. I ain't never seen the and the Smurfs only had one girl. That was what Smurfette, and you had all them guys. I didn't see them kissing. But now Disney is one company that there's nothing. They create shows where they welcome pride. And you know what? I'm okay with it. But I just feel like certain things should have a cap on it.
Even like
Right.
in the Robin, he's bisexual in the Batman and Robin series. So he's a trans, person.
Really?
Yeah, Robin is bisexual.
See,
Since
my point
when?
exactly.
Right.
Okay, well, you know what? I was trying to
This is
follow the rules
bullshit.
of the land by putting my hands up, and y'all acting like you don't see my hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and speak. And I say this because, and as I say, being an educator, we see a whole lot of everything. And when when the children come, and that's like I'm gonna say, it stems from home, because you would see the little girls come to school and they're just like, and talking about their girlfriend. I'm like, girlfriend, in the 8th grade, you're trying to pull a little cute boy. And when they say, I got a girlfriend. And then when we had that parent conference, and then the parents come in and it's 2 women, then I go, now I see. Because if you're getting this at home, then you think this is the norm. You understand? So I don't care what you say. Some things are learned. They
Yes,
can't
some
be
are.
born with the chromosomes that's crossing over and doing what it's doing. But I'm telling you, I feel like because it's in their face, and I don't have a problem with any adult that want to do what they want to do. But when it's crossing with young children and they don't know better and they are questioning, why do I have 2 mommies? Why do I have 2 daddies? That's where I have an issue. But if that's what's going on at their home front, then who am I to say anything but, honey, tell Mama Judy and tell Mama Cynthia to come on to this meeting because I need to discuss with them your grades. That's what I'm going to do. You see what I'm saying? But long time ago, people would come in like that and you could see them looking, the mom might have been a little masculine, but you never was going to say anything because guess what? A daddy walked in behind them. And that was that. But now, when the mama come in and the other mama come in, my face have never been so, and I don't have a good poker face, y'all. But this particular situation took place. We had career day, and this young lady says, no, her hat was beautiful, and I admired it. She said, my mom does my hair. I said, oh, she said, you want to see my mom? Yes. So she's showing me in her cell phone her mom. Beautiful mother. Absolutely drop dead gorgeous mom. And my nosy self, I'm scrolling on along in the little girl's phone. And I say, oh, that's your big sister? She's like, no, that's my bonus mom.
Oh, that's what it's called.
I had to straighten my face. And when she said bonus
because
mom,
that's something new you did not know.
No. When she said bonus mom, I was thinking that was her stepmom. And I said, oh, your parents are divorced? She was like, no, that's my mom's wife. I said, oh, okay. You all had to see me straighten it up because I didn't want to give that dumbfound face. I was like,
Better than
oh,
I
this
am.
is natural. Because I'm telling you, you cannot make any suggestion or any gestures or anything, because if they go to the school board and say, well, this teacher told my daughter, oh, you got 2 moms, oh, of course you're going to be in trouble. So of course I never said a mumbling word. I was like, oh, she's beautiful too. You have two beautiful moms. And I left it at that and kept it moving. So
You don't
that's
use that
what I'm saying. The society is making it as a norm. Next, we'll be seeing
Mhm.
Papa Docs with a bonus dad.
And that's why you got these mental illness. These kids are confused.
Did you
Minds
try
and
to?
minds are messed
Did
up.
you?
I
Did you?
mean, they
You just try
She
to
said
slide that
Papa
in on
Dog.
me.
She sure did. Mhm.
Yeah, she just tried to
their,
slide that in on me.
their minds are messed up, and it becomes that's when they get mentally disturbed.
Yeah.
So,
And speaking from experience, they label me as the fun house. I always have someone else's child. And
The lady that
these
lived in
ladies,
the shoe had so many children, didn't know what to do. That's her.
so I don't care. I welcome it. So I was listening one day, even though I'm cooking, I'm doing whatever, I'm still listening. And one of the kids just like, hey, yeah, I'm bi. Bi. Okay, by what? You know? And then the friend on the iPad goes, yeah, I'm bi too. And it was like a trophy of status. Hey, I'm bi, that's the way to go. And I'm trying to understand, do they even know what it means? So like 5 minutes in the conversation, they having a conversation, got little boys on the phone, and I go over and I'm like, do you know what bi means? You're 9 and 10 years old. Do you know what it means? And don't you know they broke it down like a professional? I thought I was talking to Dr. Feelgood, and I just dropped. Like what are you guys doing to spend so much time to where you know what a bi is, what a transgender, what a whatever else is out there, And I was just shocked because at 9 years old, I was still worrying about my easy bake oven and my Barbie doll. I thought I was doing something. And now these kids are just like, what is it, building homes, living in the world of Minecraft and Roblox or Bucks or whatever you call it. And Roblox. And they are literally building their digital home with their friends and they are living in it. That's their fantasy. So monitor those games, parents.
So can you blame it on social media, or I'm gonna go back because I know all of us are kind of young and we used to watch cartoons and we were in tune with them and we learned so much from them. But it's actually kind of dangerous to let your kid watch a cartoon nowadays because of the stuff that they be teaching them. And
That's my
it's
point.
it's and I'm like, whoa, like I mean, they talking show enough adult stuff on a cartoon that's for a kid.
Mhm.
It just threw me off when I heard that, and like the Teletubby, I didn't know one of them was gay. Matter of fact, I had never watched really the Teletubbies, and
But how
come
do
to
you know
find out,
Teletubby is gay?
The,
How?
the one is the pink one.
The
Or
yeah,
pink one?
the purple one is gay.
something with the color.
Winky Dink. Don't act like you don't know who Winky Dink is.
I
Winky
don't.
Dink.
What is
Not only the
Winky
color,
Dink?
I think that's the one that has the purse.
The
Oh my!
Teletubby has a purse? Okay,
Yeah.
oh please, Dr. Phillip, can you please put a picture up so I can see?
Okay, well, Dr. Feelgood was
that
ready
might be
to do our
that's not a
commercial.
female. That's not a female Teletubby.
Yeah, like
No,
what makes you
that's
think
a
it's?
Teletubby with a
No.
purse.
I thought they're all boys.
How do you know it's a fit? How do you know it's a
It was a big thing. I'll put up the picture after this commercial. Okay, let me run this commercial quick.
Okay.
This is the reel that was done in representation of Pride, and it shows a lot of the celebrities that are transgenders with the full reveal of everything. So you can go ahead, Dr. Feelgood. It doesn't have any talking or anything. on this one. But if you go to Upscale Up for You, you'll see it. And it has talking.
And then afterwards, Darren has his hand up.
So y'all did a what you call 'em for Pride?
Yes, we did. This was for the entire Pride. And those two people that you just saw, they played on the series of Pose. And they are all the way full transgender. And that is Sonny and Cher's son, which was a daughter. And
Cassidy,
From
Chaz.
Cassidy to Chaz.
Cassidy is now
yeah.
man.
Yeah, she went all the way with
Okay, and that's Dwayne
that's
Wade.
Dwayne.
And that's Dwayne Wade with his daughter. And that's him standing up there with Gabrielle Union.
Her.
She is cute.
And that's Jazz that started her transition when she was in the 3rd grade. And that's Cello Man. And that used to be a boy. And that's Nikki. And that's giving you all of the embassies under the umbrella. And of course,
that's
we know
the
Kardashian
guy. Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say that,
and that's that.
Not to jump in front of anybody, but I'm going to. But so 30 years ago, the term wasn't as popular, and some of us are blessed to have features. Some men are blessed with women-like features that make them look a certain way, and vice versa to the women. One of my first run-ins, ex-girlfriend of mine's, she was, I was with her, cousin came in, and this thing was absolutely gorgeous, had a body, had breasts, everything. And, I'm like, I'm with the wrong cousin, you know what I mean? And he's like, you like my cousin? I said, that girl, she at that time, oh yeah, she beautiful. She fat as a mud. I said, she said, that's a man. I was like, ain't no way that's a man. You could not tell not one bit, not a order that was a man, And for that to be happening today and not know it, that is one scary situation to be in.
You just have to do the pat down. Do the pat down. Pat down.
That don't work.
Well, that don't work.
Nothing.
Yeah. Hey, they got this thing called, they tuck it.
That's right. They tuck it.
They tuck it. It's man, it's just scary.
And I mean, they can hide it for a long time because men love oral sex. So they can play the field and do the oral sex all the time, as long as they get it and release it. Okay.
Yeah, she like, babe,
Look, Papa Doc say, yeah.
The devil almost made me say something. Get back, devil. Get back, devil. The devil trying to make me say something. I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna hold on.
Dr. Fabulous, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna come for you. I'm gonna tell you that now in just a minute. But
Dr. Fabulous, Zip. You have 2 hands raised. Marlena hand has been up, put down, been up, put down.
First.
And
I apologize.
Please come and get.
I apologize to jumping anyway.
Oh, that's Teletubby, Winky Wink. Where's
Winky
the purse?
Dink?
Winky
No, that's the wrong
Where's
color.
the
This is the pink one.
It's the pink one. Oh, they don't have it up there.
Pinky Winky.
Pinky Winky, that's it. That's him. That's him.
I don't see a purse. So how do you know?
You don't see the pink one yet either.
Watch the show, you'll see based on.
But realistic.
Darren, hand is up.
Go ahead, Darren.
First of all, good evening, people.
Good evening.
In a unique situation, since I didn't even know this was the subject matter tonight, but it's something that I have been dealing with for the last month now. With our business, we have hired an individual, I'm going to say, that for all intents and purposes is male, but has the identification of female. And I've had to really catch myself every time I address that person. So I guess my question is, how would each of you handle having to not only work with a male that identifies as female, but also be quote unquote their boss? Because the way that I have been handling it so far is just I call that person by their name. That's it. Because every time I see that person, there's no way in the blue hell that I can call them female.
So
Then
can I ask a question? Do you
Sure.
all just have like a family restroom, or do you all have female, male? How does he go to the restroom? And does he have a female voice? Does he sound like a lady or does he sound like a man?
First off, it's virtual. So
Oh, it's
the toilet
virtual. Okay.
situation, we could care less.
Okay, got it.
Secondly, when you speak to the person, you can tell that they are adjusting their voice. And no matter what you say or what this is all male for now. Even though their coworkers always say, well, she needs, I look, what? Oh, that's for security's sake, I'll say that's Jim. Okay, yeah, Jim, I'll get you what you need. Because I just can't say her. I've slipped a
So
few
does
times and
Jim
said, how
still
you
have
doing, Mr.
a male name, or have they
Yeah,
changed their
the person
name?
has a it's not a male, it would be a name that could be interchangeable.
Oh, unisex. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
Unisex.
Is it non?
Did you
broke
say
up.
non-binary name?
You
No,
broke
like
up. Say what?
pronouns.
That's unisex name, like Pat or
Name is-
Kelly
Yeah.
or
Yeah, so unisex names such as that. And I'm sorry, I'm just too literal. If you're a guy, I'm gonna call you her, I'm gonna call you him, sir, bruh, man. If you're a woman, I'm gonna call you her, lady, ma'am, miss. I can't
But
do that.
Darren,
Karen, can't
did
because
you take the chance to just ask them what would you like to be called?
No,
No.
simply
I'm with
because
Darren. I'm with Darren. I'm not gonna
Oh,
even
No,
question.
yes,
no, no,
ma'am.
no, no.
I'm not
Let's be
about.
fair now. No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
let's
let's-
be
Okay,
fair.
hold on. I'll answer that. I'll answer.
Okay.
I
No,
won't ask
I did
because
not.
I'm gonna call you what I see.
No,
But that's
Exactly. That's
Leanne,
just me.
mute.
I'm gonna
No.
call you what I see. If I see some ample breasts, I see a nice butt, you got the walk, you're a woman. If
Well,
I
no,
see you
because
walking
it's some
around like,
men,
say what?
Darren. It's
Say
some
what?
men that got some tatas and the bottom.
Yeah,
So
but that's
you calling
different.
them on
That's
that
different.
pretense.
If it's a gentleman that has a chest because of weight, that looks completely different
No, not the
than a
weight.
woman.
Not the weight.
Tucker
They got
Chunks
this.
got some tit lows too. But go ahead.
Yeah, but if I see male, I'm calling you male. If I see female, I'm calling you female. So to keep from causing issues, because it's I just use the name, but everybody else says she needs your assistance.
That's the respect. That's
Okay,
it's a,
but out of respect of he or she, did you ask them what would you like to be
No,
called?
because I
There's
know
nothing
me.
wrong in asking that. It's just showing a sign of respect
Respect.
for that person, and vice
Yeah,
versa.
But
and that
Darren,
could be that's all fine and dandy, but I know me. Even if I ask you, I'm calling you what I see.
you
but
gonna say,
Darren,
dude?
But
Darren,
that's disrespectful, Darren.
Right.
That's why
No,
I
it's
call you
not.
by your
No, it's
name.
not.
That way I can't disrespect
Yes,
you if I
it
call you
is,
by your name.
because if
So
I
if
choose to be
right.
a man and I'm not all there fully officially a man, it's like what do I call you? And I will simply say, excuse me, dear, what do I call you?
So
Ma'am
Jerome
or
says it's
sir?
disrespectful. Okay.
Huh?
So I'm with who said call them by their name. You don't have to
Call them by
identify
their name. That's
That's
right.
it.
by their
Call
name.
them
You
by
don't
their
have to
name.
identify.
Now, if I call you by your name and you feel disrespected, that's your problem because that's what you call yourself. That's
And
your
that's
name.
I
what your
mean, in
name
all
is.
fairness, whatever name that when they got hired by you, whatever name that you hired them under that they presented to you, wouldn't that just be the name that you call them? And
And
you
that's why I
can't
say
go,
I call you
yeah.
by your name. That's why I say I call that person by the name because here's the other problem. And you guys mentioned it before. The license says male, but they want to be identified as female, which also presents an HR issue, which is why I have to call them by their name. Because if the
I like
license
that. I
says
like that,
male,
Darren. Call them by their name.
yeah, if the license says male, technically you are male and that's what we have to address you as. But if you decide you want to be female and you want to be addressed as such, and I want to be all politically correct, then I'm going to call you female. Well, I ain't all that politically correct. So it's easier for me just to use the name.
All right.
I think that's fair. So my daughter
Mm.
worked with she was working at an establishment, and one day when she came in and I walked in with her, and they pulled her and another young lady to the side because they were just starting shift, and it was a new person there, and she looked just like a female until she opens her mouth. And the assistant manager did pull them coming on to shift to the side and say, "Hey, we have a new, crew member." And he told them, this is the male, but he's he was a teen transgender and he goes by such and such. And out of respect, they all on the job called him by his female name. So I mean, it's
Sorry,
happening.
Jerome,
That's
I
all I
can't
can
do
say.
That
it.
It's
was because it
happening.
was specifically stated when you going in, and it's specifically stated. You don't need to ask because the boss said this is, give me a name that's a male and a female. Charlie. This is Charlie.
No, they know his male name because again, legally he had to be hired under, his still male name, but he went by a female's name. And so the assistant manager put them up, to tell them, because just going in and looking at him, you would have thought it was a female. And he told them, he prefers to be called, or he didn't say she prefers to be called so and so. And so that's what they all, they respected it, and they all called him or her. I keep saying him because for me, I'm kind of the same way, knowing that consciously that it's a boy, but she looks very much like a female. And
Okay. Before anyone else jump in or chime in, Marlena, please go ahead and say what's on your heart, because you didn't put your hand up, took it down, put it up, took it down. Go ahead, please, please, please say what's on your heart. And after you, Darren has his hand back up.
I was just gonna say about if anybody saw that Secret Society movie, that's all. That how the women were transgender and they use rich people to be successful. I put the pictures in the chat. I think, yeah, me and Kay, I think we talked about that once. You guys gotta check it out. These women, they're very pretty. And Darren was talking about something else, but I just put it in the chat so you guys can take a look at it. Thought it was interesting.
Okay, so Jerome B say, what is disrespectful?
Oh,
Jerome? Is Jerome still here? Jerome?
No, I'm here. Tasha was asking me. Lady T was asking me, what is disrespectful? And I answered her.
Okay, all right then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. So Darren, we're back at you.
All right. Here's another part to that someone brought up to me. And that is, first, let me take this down. That is, if we have to go on what people identify as, then what about those that identify as something other than what was one of the example was there are people that identify as paraplegic that are not. There are people that identify as animals and they are not. If we're all going to be so concerned with addressing people as what they say they are, then we can identify as anything, even something as simple as the woman who identified as being Black, knowing that she is white as the day is long. When does all this end? When do we call a hard stop and say, you need to be who you are, and because you identify as something does not make it true? Any thoughts on that?
Oh, yes, I'll take the first go at it. That will never end. So that's off the bat, it will never end. But out of respect for that person, whom or whatever it may be, I feel like you should ask them, what would you like to be called? Because if they're in transition to be something else, then regardless of what they look like or how much money they have, just respect the fact that I want to be called Mr. John. Even though I look like a woman, I want to be called, Mr. John. I see men in let's say Target. There's this guy at Target. He has Black fingernails, Hispanic, beard, but his face is made up like a female. I'm not even sure what you call him, but prior to questioning him, I say, what, would you like to be called? And he said, Miss. Okay, Miss so-and-so, where can I find la la la? Just
well, do they wear name badges? Because whatever's on that name badge, that's what you're gonna be called. Because that's just like your thing, say Lady T. And if you had a mustache, your chest was gone and you was hanging low, I'ma still say Lady T, because that's what your name badge say.
Well, it said so-and-so. So I said Miss so-and-so, but it's just out of respect, because I feel like even, being a Black female, I work in corporate America and I still have to prove myself. They just label us as the angry Black female, and that's not the case.
So on your application, do you put Black or do you put other?
I put other.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. I put other. So you're not getting any pennies from me.
Okay.
And when I want to be African American to help out something, I will check African American.
I got you. All right. Good answer. Good
so,
answer.
I mean, I just feel like whomever or whatever that person wants to be called, we all, in spite of how we think, we need to respect that.
All right.
Get a name.
What, Derek? Well, your opinion is respected, so.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so we're going to pass the baton over to Dr. Feels So Good.
Yes, it's my turn. I just want to do a quick run through of something I found just talking about cisgender, but shows you how to pronounce it. Hold on, give me a second. How's everybody doing tonight? You enjoying the show?
We are. We're learning.
I learned a lot, really.
I did too.
Yeah.
Cisgender.
Cisgender. All right now.
She identifies as cisgender.
Cisgender. She identifies as cisgender.
Are they
Just a
going to
quick
show a picture of cisgender?
no,
And
because
what is a
you look at your own,
cisgender?
and you
What
can
is
look at your
cisgender?
own picture and see cisgender.
Oh,
What?
okay. So it's a female.
Well, yes, a female that was born a female and is a female. I gotta.
Oh, I'm
You
a
know,
I'm
cisgender.
confused.
Okay.
Hold on. Wait a second.
I'm going to
confused.
I'm going to pull up. Just give me a second.
Okay.
Hey, cisgender.
See,
Oh,
cisgender.
oh, good God. Here we go. I gotta mute myself because I'm gonna get in trouble. Hold on.
Why?
Okay, this is showing from WebMD. It tells you what cisgender is.
We can't see that.
It
I
says
can't. I have 3 screens.
cisgender or cis means that the gender you identify with matches the sex assigned to you at birth. Transgender is when you gender identify different from what's the sex on your birth certificate. Remember, I talked about changing birth certificates earlier. In Latin, cis means on the same side, and trans means on the other side. So, for example, when you transfer, you're going from one side to the other. That's a transfer. Only thing I think of cis is cistern, and that's a pea pot. So that's
Is it the same thing as pronoun?
yes,
What's
it's
a
a pronoun
pea
in American English. It is a pronoun.
Whatever happened to
What
good
is up
old
with this
hetero and homo?
pronoun and noun stuff? I'm lost.
The binary, be born as a boy or a girl. That's what identify he or she. And non-binary pronoun mean that you're like a transgender, like identifying as a woman. You're born a male. Body.
Yes. And then and gender is more of an identity. That's why I say I identify, and my pronouns are. Not everyone's sex at birth lines up with their gender identity. The identity, how you see yourself and what you call yourself, kind of what Darren was talking about earlier. He couldn't see himself calling that person a she that was born a male, so he called that person by their name, which is perfectly acceptable. Some examples of non-binary gender identities include queer gender, gender fluid, meaning I feel like something one day, something another day. Agender, meaning I don't identify as either. Then you have bigender, I identify as both.
I mean, what is the big deal about these pronouns? I'm trying to understand.
You don't want to be misgendered. That's the thing. It's okay. One thing, and this is big in our community amongst our women. If a guy doesn't like you or says something you don't like, you're like, you must be gay. So you must be gay, or call a man a she. And they think that's funny, but that's actually a form of homophobia.
Oh, you don't call him a she, you call him a shim. That's a she.
No. Listen, Dr. Fab, I'm saying when a woman says to a man, calls a man she, and he identifies as a man, that is misgendering. That is a form of homophobia. When you call a straight man gay, that's like calling a gay person straight. You're not. I mean, that's disrespectful.
Okay, so no gender is called they or them, not he or she.
Agender people say they or them.
Agender.
Yes, it's like atheist, anemia.
Okay, so agender is called they or them, correct? Right. Okay, so now how would I use that in a sentence? They, them, or he, she?
Okay.
So show me how to use
how good is your
pronouns.
Spanish? I'm good at your
Poquito.
Spanish, Lady T.
Poquito.
Poquito.
Poquito
Poquito.
Espanol.
We're the only language that doesn't have gendered pronouns,
Oh, okay.
because we could say, for example, I say you. I could there's a masculine and a feminine for words in the Spanish language and a lot of other languages, a lot of Romance languages. However, how you use they, you can use them for singular, they in the past passive voice.
How
Like,
am I supposed to know that if I'm just meeting you?
Right, I'm looking for them. Them, or
What?
yeah, have you seen them?
But them will refer to a bunch of
Them
people.
is plural.
Yeah.
That's I'm just giving you examples on what these things can do and how you use it in everyday language. It said Dr. Fab is fly. I like them.
That I am, honey. That I am. Don't forget it.
That's how you heard how I used it. Said they be fly. They be looking good. They are looking real good. And I'm talking about Dr. Fab, but I'm using Dr. Fab's preferred pronouns.
So if Dr. Fab is standing directly in front of me, then I would say, oh, Dr. Fab looking good. They looking good?
Yeah.
Or they are fly? And then Dr. Fab would automatically know that I'm speaking of her?
If you're talking,
I would not know.
If you're talking to Dr. Fab, you're talking directly. You use that more as an indirect.
Oh,
as an indirect.
Oh, like I'm speaking to you. Oh, Dr. Fab is fly. They know how to dress.
But when you say they, I would think you were talking about somebody else.
No,
I'm like,
but that's kind of how you use they and them as a non-binary term.
Oh, okay.
This is too much work for me. Okay.
Too much work.
It's a lot, but like I said, I'm an ally, so I keep myself up on a lot of this stuff. Because I don't,
This was a very educational topic, and I'm pretty sure we could do a 2 and 3 part to it. But to just get the foundation, I think that we all have to take the time and learn the culture, of the Pride community. So I would rather definitely use the name, and they probably say, this lady is crazy because she just used my name, and I have to learn how to use the pronouns. And that's just me.
Some people refer to themselves in the third person.
Huh?
Like Dr. Feelgood feels good. Why are you speaking to Dr. Feelgood like that way?
Okay.
Who are they to think that Dr. Feelgood don't feel bad?
When I use they, I'm not using it.
No,
as transgender
I'm
or
being,
they as English language.
Right. No, I'm being facetious, but like I said,
I want you to be facetious, but that's a good question. How do you know if you're talking to someone that I'm using they or them in the English language or the transgender language?
They'll let you know. That person will let you know what pronouns are acceptable to them.
Okay.
I agree, Jerome. It's all a learning process, and it's not easy because we've been socialized to see we socialized binary. We're socialized binary. This is going, and speaking in math terms, this is going from binary to hex. Does anybody know what hex means in the math?
I do not.
Hex is a numbered system dealing on the base of 12. So you use numbers and letters and digits to come up with numbers. We use base 10. Our number system is base 10. Base 2 is what's called binary. And does anybody know what binary is used in? Computers, yes. 0 meaning off, 1 meaning on. That's base, they call that base 2. So you can for every number between 2 and 9, you can have a base. You can base it a number system off of that. Hex is a computer computer generated number that you can use to figure out and convert it into base 10, which is what everybody else uses. So we're going from binary to hex. So you gotta get yourself, and it's on you. It's not something you have to do, but I think you'd be a better person if you learn more about other people and how other people live. Because too many times we're so fixated on ourselves and what people think of us that we tend to turn that over to other people and make them, yes, out of respect, Leanne, you're right. We want to make everybody feel the way we do. A lot of times that's great. Sometimes it's not so great, but respect others. Don't allow to be disrespected. And if you see, if somebody does something that you don't like, set the boundary and tell them right away. They might not like it initially, but they'll understand. And because we have a problem with setting boundaries, and people can't respect the boundary that they don't know that they crossed. So always set your boundaries. That's in life, family, friends.
Work.
I think he might have a little issue with production sound, but we understand what Dr. Feelgood was saying, and setting boundaries is the key example to anything. That's just like some people may not know you, and they may walk up and say, "Hey, sweetie." Well, you don't know me that well to be calling me sweetie, so just call me by my name. Like Darren said earlier, to say someone's name is the best thing, because guess what? That's your name. Now I'm going to turn it over to Action Jackson, and he's the last one up. So give it to us before you say good night. You're on mute, Action. That is like the hardest thing for me to say. Make my tongue tired.
I know. We need to vote on a name for Action Jackson.
It's very difficult to say.
He can say it because he speaks patois.
Yeah, patois man. So my question:
Action Jackson.
Who is transitioning from one sex to another?
What happened now? We didn't hear the question.
Repeat that.
How do you support your spouse if he or she's transitioned to the other side?
What you're saying is, if your wife was changing herself to a man, how would you support her or support him?
Him or her.
Okay, all right. Let's call on somebody to answer that question. Is there anyone that would like to answer that question? Andreen, I know you hear me, Andreen. You thought you was gonna get off easy tonight by not answering a question. Come on, Andreen, and answer this question. How would you support your spouse that was transitioning from a man to a woman? And if anybody know that guy, Jenner or whatever, Catlin, he and his wife took pictures and would hang out and go shopping and everything together. So she was quite a woman, and I think it had to do with dollars and cents, because I don't think I could hang with my husband if he was asking to wear my shoes. So anyway, Andreen.
Yeah, I think that one is definitely would be a challenge, especially if it's with your spouse. But I feel like if you're an accepting person overall, and I feel like that's one part that the kid, being an educator as well, they've taught me to just be accepting. Just be who you want to be, and I'm going to have to accept you. So I feel like you would just have to accept them and kind of, I guess, support whatever that transition in that situation is that they're going through, because I know, like I heard I was in and out, but for some of the things with the students, I mean, it's a lot. This year I had one girl telling me, because I kept calling her the wrong pronoun, and I did not know because she presented as a female. So I would always say, oh, you were in their group or her. And then she came up to me real nervous one day and she was like, Miss Bryan, I'm non-binary, so I would like you to call me they, them. I was like, what? And then she proceeded to give me a whole lesson on her parents let her choose her gender. And sometimes she feels like a boy and sometimes she feels like a girl. So that's why she's they, them. I was like, OMG. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to call you your name. Because I told her, old me, I'm accepting of whatever you want to be called, but subconsciously, with the way I see you present most of the time, it's female in my old world. So I'm just going to call you Tina or whatever her name was. And I just left it at that. But I think being that way with your spouse too, just being open to hear whatever it is they're going through and accepting of, and hopefully supporting as much as you can.
Okay, so Andreen, I'm going to take your answer, but you're telling me, and I want you to give me that full 100 dive, your husband that have laid next to you for the last 20 some odd years, and he just roll over and caress you and say, babe, I think I want to just go on and have the surgery. I want to look like you. I want to cut it off. I'm tired of tucking, but I'm going to cut it off and I'm going to make everything the same in your image. You're saying that you're going to be okay with that and you're going to cuddle him and say, baby, when you cut it off, I'll be right here with you.
You know why? Because to me, to get to the to expect and to even tell me that, I've had to know something. I've had to suspect something. And to still be in the bed with you, I am definitely still open to and allowing you to be in my presence still. So there can't be animosity there. There has to be love. So at the end of the day, I think I would. If you've gotten to the point where you're comfortable enough to tell me I know something, I suspect something. So I feel like you are probably being true to yourself after 20 something years. I feel like I probably would. Then I would definitely. And I'm like, the fact that you had the courage to probably come to me with something I'm assuming I suspected all along. Because I feel like
would you have stayed with this
individual? I would stay in the situation. I don't even think, because I feel like by the time it got to that point, I wouldn't let it get there. You wouldn't be in the bed telling me this. I mean, you might be telling me this now that we're friends and I've already reconciled it, because I know I would be hurt. I don't care if you're my husband for 2 years and you're like, oh, now I want to be a woman. I'll be like, dang, what happened? Like, it would take me some time. But if I'm with you for 20 something years and I feel like we, even though I might be in denial of it, all along, there had to be some signs and signals. And that's how I feel like it was with Caitlyn and, the Jenner crew. She knew.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah. She stayed there for other reasons. But, and that's so funny.
How many children did she have?
I think it's 6, or is it 4? Yeah, I think it's 6. Yeah, because they had 2 together. She
had 6 children, and then he decided to be a female?
Well, she had 4 with her ex-husband, and then she had 2 with him. So yes, his daughter had to deal with that too. Yeah.
But you know what is so funny? And you say that you don't think by that time you would know. That's funny that you say, because I was in college, and you know how you go home on spring break, and I allowed this young man to come home with me for spring break. And when this was funny, my dad said, if you don't get that Negro out this house, he looking in the mirror more than you. He say, something ain't right with him. And if you don't know it, let me tell you, it done came on my radar. Don't you bring him back here no more. And do you know? And it's funny. I'm laughing now, but I was a little hurt back then. But I look and I listen to my dad and I watch certain things. And I will say today, he got married, but he got married for a sham, because he didn't want nobody to know, because he has a best friend and they do everything together. So I'm thinking in my subconscious mind that he and the best friend are really together and their wives are just for show, but my dad picked up on that. Don't you bring him back to this house no more. That boy is more than you. So, okay. Dottie, you keep coming on and off. Dottie, you have something you would like to share with us?
I would like to share that at our church, it was a young man, and he changed from the young man to a woman, and because we saw him transition, he wanted to go to the ladies' bathroom, and they say, so they left the church.
At our school.
Well, they had to go to the nurses station at our school. So you all didn't let him go on in the ladies' room, Miss Dottie? Well, God wasn't right with that. Miss Dottie, y'all supposed to have a caring heart at church now.
They had a caring heart. They told him to keep on doing what he was doing, because he came there as a man. So when he transitioned, he still was a man as far as we concerned.
But did he have the surgery? Did he have the all the way where he cut it off, or was he still tucking?
I don't know.
Dr. Fab, that is just TMI.
No, like Dr. Feelgood said, was he pre-op or was he post-op? Because if he was post-op, he might could have gone ahead and go into the ladies' room. But if he was pre-op,
see, you missed the point. The point is he came there as a man.
As a man.
So
you are not going in the female bathroom as a man. Anybody can say whatever they want to say, but little kids and women are in that bathroom.
That's right. And we know he was a man. So even though he changed, so he had to change churches.
Not funny. I'm funny, but okay. All right.
So does he go in the female restroom because he comes as a woman now?
If he changed churches and they didn't know he was a man, I guess he did.
Guys that come as you are?
It is come as you are, but the church
as a man first.
Wait a minute.
Stay as a man.
Wait a minute. It is come as you are, but the churches have to protect the other people. And, anyone can dress up as a woman, but then mentally have, their mind on other things. So and you have little children, going to the restroom and stuff. So you always have to be mindful, because churches, they are constantly being attacked.
That's right.
People are raping children in churches. They're
not in the bathroom at church.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
It happened to him.
You have to be very mindful of, especially when they go to church, they are kidnapping, human trafficking. When you go to the altar and the pastor say, "Oh, let me pray for you," come down to the altar. They're actually sitting somewhere in the church and signaling you out so they can take you and, sell you all these dreams. And those who are wounded and weak-minded will follow that path. And next thing you know, they're kidnapped, and now you got human trafficking.
Oh, from the church. Lord, what is the church turn into? I started to open a church. Let me stop playing with y'all. I'm playing.
Help with Jesus. Help her.
I'm trying to keep it together. It's after 10 o'clock. I get kind of, okay. Well, is there another, Darren, you got something you would like to share?
No, not right now.
Come on and share. I'm giving you
You make it very interesting. Thank you for coming on.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to share before we close out this evening? Well, I would like to say this. Welcome to everyone. If this is your first time, don't let it be your last. As I say, Upscale Love for You is the place for different conversations. And every time it gets better and better, sweeter and sweeter. And man, tonight's conversation, I definitely enjoyed, and I learned a lot about the Under the Pride umbrella. And I want to definitely commend and thank Dr. Feelgood for always being our educator on different subjects because, the research, you can tell he was probably a little nerd boy when he was growing up and was very smart because he put it all together. And if he wasn't, great kudos to you now. And I'm going to turn it over to each and every one of my co-hosts for them to say a little something, and then we're going to log off. And if I don't get a chance to come back on, I just want to tell everyone thank you for joining us this evening. And now to you, Dr. Feelgood. Dr. Feelgood. He might.
Hey, I'm saying everybody have a great weekend. And you want me to end it, or are you going to end it?
No. I'm letting you all say something because we got to go to we got Dr. Feelgood, Lady T, Action Jackson, and to Special K, and then you can close us out, Dr. Feelgood.
What about a cruise?
Today was the deadline for the people to talk to me about the cruise. We cruising, baby. We cruising. We own that.
So those of you who are on now, if you would like to put a deposit down of $125, you can. Do we have the link up? You can Cash App, set up your account tonight. We are willing to take the payment. It's going to be a fun cruise. I'm so excited. It's Harlem Nights theme. I want all you men to come dressed to impress. And ladies, I know you are going to be sexy and tight. So I just want to say thank you, everyone. And please come out and join us on the cruise October 27th through October 30th.
All right. Well, thank
I
you.
will pass it on to Special K.
Yeah, so good. Just want to say good night. First, I want to say thank you for everyone who participated tonight, who watched and tuned in. I learned a lot. It was very informative. It was great conversation. Like Lady T said, hope to see everyone, especially it would be a wonderful opportunity to meet everyone on this cruise, have some fun, and just good night. And everyone have a blessed rest of the week and have a blessed weekend.
All right.
We go
Nasty
Ravon.
J.
Nice net. Oh.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. It was a great show. I learned a lot about the binary, the pronoun, the transgender, the queer, all different topics. Hope that we could move forward and we educate one another and tell a friend who's ignorant, teach us some new pronouns. Okay, and Darren, hope that you learned a thing or two, and look forward to seeing you guys next.
All right. Well, once again, back to me. I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming. And please, we will see you again, same place, same time next week, Thursday. And who knows what we'll be talking about next Thursday. And I'm going to sign off with my favorite 2 scoops of smooches. Good night. Mwah.